It has been 20 long years since the original alloy Cervélo Soloist debuted way back in 2002. At the time, the Soloist was a true game changer for aero frame design. Essentially the genesis of the modern aero road bike, it was the bike of choice of the superstar pro team, Team CSC. Back to the present day though, and this reimagining of the Soloist isn't aimed at the lofty ranks of the World Tour. Instead, the new Soloist is aimed at amateur racers and fast road riders. That means, rather than a set of bikes with range-topping group sets and exclusive components, the new Soloist tops out with the model I have here, fitted with carbon wheels and Shimano's impressive new 12-speed Ultegra Di2. Now, at $6,800, it still isn't cheap, but that is a saving of $2,200 compared to a Cervélo S5 with the same group set. I'm going to run you through everything you need to know about this latest Soloist, including my colleague Warren's first ride impressions, but before I do, why not subscribe to this channel if you haven't already? Coming hot off the heels of their revamped Tour de France stage-winning S5, the resurrected Soloist isn't designed to be a competitor to that bike or the flyweight R5. Instead, it sits between the two and, crucially, comes in at a lower price point, which Cervélo says makes it ideal for the week-in, week-out amateur racer. As well as scaling back the price, Cervélo has also lowered the integration levels on the new Soloist. The S5 might be a bit easier to live with than the previous version, but it still has a fairly complex cockpit that can make maintaining or travelling with the bike quite a bit more involved. On the Soloist, you still get hidden cable routing under the stem and through the bearing cap on the head tube, but the gear cables and hydraulic brake hoses don't go through the stem. This means breaking the bike down to pack into a bike bag shouldn't mean splitting hoses, bleeding brakes and all of those things that pro riders have done for them by team mechanics. Bottom bracket choice is always a popular topic, and in this case Cervélo has opted to use their relatively new BB Right 47 standard on the Soloist. BB Right 47, which debuted on the Cervélo R5 CX cross bike last year, is a combination of the brand's long-standing asymmetric press-fit design and the T47 threaded interface. This means a threaded inboard bearing cup on the non-drive side and an outboard one on the drive side. Cervélo claims that this bottom bracket design helps ensure optimal chainline and drivetrain efficiency, yet offers the ease of servicing and replacement that comes with a threaded bottom bracket shell. Now, as you might know, I have some strong opinions on press-fit bottom brackets. In fact, I did an entire video on it, which you can see, if you'd like to, via the link in the video description below or on the card above. According to Cervélo, the Soloist isn't just about speed and racing though, it also brings versatility to the table too. The frameset has plenty of clearance for bigger tyres, like the recently updated S5 is up to 34mm measured width, which is pretty big for an aero road bike. In terms of geometry, the new Soloist mirrors the new S5, but we'll get into that a bit more when we dive into Warren's ride impressions shortly. For a premium brand like Cervélo, we'd normally expect to see a range of bikes decked out with the sort of Gucci builds seen on the likes of the £13,000 Cervélo S5 Red ETAP Axis. The Soloist range, however, tops out with a bike equipped with the new 12-speed Shimano Ultegra Di2 and carbon wheels, which cost $6,800. That is clearly still a lot of money, but there are builds starting from $3,400 for a build with 11-speed mechanical Shimano 105 R7020. So Cervélo is clearly working hard to make its bikes more accessible than ever. Alternatively, if you'd like to build up your own custom Soloist, the frameset is available separately in 3 colourways for $2,700. As always, if you want the full specs and prices for every single build in the range, you can find a link to our in-depth news story about the new Soloist in the video description below. So that's all of the spec details, but how does the Soloist perform out on the road? Well, my colleague Warren has been putting this bike through its paces over the last few weeks, and these are his initial thoughts. His headline takeaway is that the ride quality is simply awesome. The geometry of the bike perfectly mirrors the excellent R5, which is exactly what you'd want from this type of bike. The 590mm of stack on Warren's 58cm test bike is low without being slammed, while the 401mm of reach is similarly sporty without being too stretched. Combined with a short wheelbase and a racy trail figure, Warren says the Soloist is an excellent handling bike and that it covers ground with efficiency close to that of a full-on, state-of-the-art aero bike such as an S5. While some may discount the Soloist for being something of a nearly model, Warren argues that the new 2023 Soloist is plenty light enough, plenty aero enough, and plenty smooth enough for the vast majority of riders, and that it's a real joy to ride. Could this be the latest bike added to Warren's enormous stable? Keep an eye out for his full review coming in the future. But what do you think? Is the new Soloist an ideal mix of the lightweight R5 and the all-aero S5? Or is it a jack of all trades and a master of none? As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And lastly, a final reminder to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And if you're looking for more of the latest and greatest road bikes, then why not check out this video?